Philadelphia. I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show.
Good morning. Good morning. I know it was a long night last night at the ballpark, and it didn't go exactly the way we had hoped. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we are presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop at your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. Well, last night we were very excited, right? Very excited when it looked like Rojas had saved the bacon. After a night of Chisholm, it looked like Rojas had saved the bacon, swipes the bag, momentum fills, but they can't get the big hit. They can't get the big. There were chance after chance to end that thing. And what's the most frustrating thing about it, we were talking about this before the show, I was talking about last night, that, that runner on second, the ghost runner, you got to be able to move them over and hit a fly ball. Ultimately, that's how the Dodgers won. That's how the Yankees won the game last night. The Yankees won the game because they moved the runner to third, right? And they get the fly ball, and that's how you win it. And it was a kind of frustrating night last night as the slide funk continues. And last night's loss means the Phillies have lost now 5 series in a row. And I know panic starts to mount. Fear starts to mount. And yesterday I spent all day long telling you not to worry. And I still believe that. The deadline changed a little bit of my concerns, if I'm going to keep it 100. The fact that the Dodgers are able to get Flaherty, that all of a sudden, that rotation looks pretty formidable, right? Because you got Glasnow, he's been back. At some point, Buehler will be back. Yamamoto will be back. And you got Kershaw still. And now you got Flaherty. So they're throwing you a lot of big arms in the rotation. Meanwhile, and VG said it earlier, and I thought the same thing, that what the Padres did at the deadline was very scary because they get the good Tanner. The Phillies get the Chuck Tanner, right? The Padres get the good Tanner, who was the closer for the Marlins, and they now have this super pen, which is pretty nasty, their bullpen. Their bullpen is now a super pen, so they're attacking it. Their lineup is intact. They'll get Tatis back. They look pretty frightening. The Dodgers, of course, are going to get Mookie Betts back to go with that rotation. The Mets are a little scary. They've been playing good ball. So all of a sudden, the horse race would seem to be a one-horse race is starting to clog up a little bit. And I'm still not panicked about the Phillies themselves. I believe in this club. I think this club is a championship caliber team. Look with Austin Hayes yesterday, right? Austin Hayes, big night, showed you what he can do, right? Like I thought that was a good acquisition. So I believe in their lineup. I believe in their pitching. I think they'll get it together. They got to play better ball. Like there's little things that we talk about, moving over runners. Bryce is in a funk right now. He's scuffling, so you could see that. And you know that that's not going to last forever. So the only concern is that you got to take, at some point in August, over the next couple of weeks, they got to snap out of it, and they got to start playing at a better clip. And I do expect that. My biggest concern as we sit here right now is really the competition, because I thought the competition got better at the deadline. And that'll be my biggest fear, because now all of a sudden you look at October, and October is going to be competitive. The arms race was on, and it's going to be pretty dicey. So we'll discuss it. Lots to do. We have Baldi today, Todd Zolecki on his way to the ballpark as the Phillies try to avert the sweep. So Todd's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes. We got Baldi today, the brain as always, and our Eagles training camp report will be Zach Berman today. So full show for you as always. Good morning, my man, VG Violations Greg.
Good morning.
No, you were down there last night.
Last night was brutal. Almost 4 hours. Longest game in the Major League Baseball this year. And
felt like a playoff game.
It was a good game.
It was.
Yes. It was a good game except for the ending. It's a frustrating game. It felt like, I'm just speaking just in the extra innings, it felt like every time the Yankees came up, they were moving runners.
I know.
And the Phillies, I don't want to be that guy. But man, do they swing at the first pitch. Are they all pressing? I get it if you're guessing fastball.
I mean, look at Bryce right now. Bryce is scuffling.
He looks confused up there.
Yeah, that's, again, you're going to go through those slumps, and Bryce is in a slump right now.
Bryce. Check,
and Bryce is not, too.
So last night, I'm a big math guy. I did great in calculus and all that.
God bless.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bone, Marsh. Last night, 2 of 26.
Yeah.
0.76 average.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
Because you're all excited. Garrett Cole scratched.
Yeah.
They got like a bullpen game pretty much coming. And your top dogs go 2 of 26?
How many times that happened?
Yeah.
Right? It just happened. And then who thinks, there's Chisholm. And yesterday, my big mouth, I go, I don't like Chisholm. I don't want him Chisholm, right? And what happens? He goes yard twice, including off of Strom.
Yeah.
How he turned
Strom could not throw a strike, and then when he did, they were meatballs.
Yeah.
He's going to have it. He's due.
That's it.
It's one time.
The guy was lights out the whole season. So you can't, you have a bad out or two. You can't jump all over Strom. This is what it is. I hate, we talk about it all the time. It's baseball. It's baseball. It's baseball. But it really is. Now, what is agitating is not capitalizing with runners in scoring position. Look, slumps are going to happen, but you got to do little things that scratch out runs when you need runs. Yeah. And I always talk about it, but the runner on second in extra innings, there's no excuse for that guy not to score. There's none.
None.
And I don't know
not
why.
To get him to third base is...
It's just bad. You got to be able to bunt and move the runner, or at least have enough back control to move the runner. I mean, that's what the Yankees did. That's how they won the game.
Yeah. And last night I watched the Padres come back from 5 down to the Dodgers. And extra innings, they got Luis Arias, their leadoff hitter. He's batting 300. He lays a bunt down.
Well, that's what he does, is hit. Yeah.
But he lays a perfect bunt down, moves the runner over, boom, they win.
Yeah, well, he's that kind of guy who's got great back control and not a lot of guys can bunt. That's ridiculous. That's a big problem. It's
like not being able to hit a free throw.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. The analogy's spot on. But there are a lot of guys across Major League Baseball that don't have the back control to lay down a good, a real sacrifice bunt.
Rojas is one. He got lucky because he had that little dinker of infield single, but I was at the game. I sent you a picture. The third baseman's 5 feet behind third base. He doesn't even attempt to lay a bunt down the third base side.
I know. I mean, and that's something. If you're a Rojas,
yes, you got to bunt.
And you're a pencil bat,
yes,
you got to be able to do that.
Agreed.
You have to. You got to be able to capitalize. And you're right. I mean, look where he was playing. Look where he's playing. That's where you got to get on. And those little things. And this is an issue. It's funny. My buddy Tooch, who sent me the Tom Petty free falling
it's
video.
Good, man. He should be like a music supervisor for movies. Perfect song for what's going on.
I the minute I'm watching the game, he's watching the game down the shore, right? I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden I get they go down, right? Chisholm hits the home run. You're like, oh God, and then I just get the text. Tom Petty, free falling.
Yeah, and
then that song's playing in my head.
Free falling. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
And I'm like, no, no. And then they tie it. I'm going, Hayes. But my man Boone's going, Hayes. Willie Mays.
And I'm
Hayes.
with you, man. When Rojas got the home plate on that pass ball, you think this is it. This has changed the tide. Yeah. The energy shifted.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
I know. I was texting you, and I'm like,
Everyone's hating on Whit Merrifield. With Whit Merrifield on the squad, they're 61-32. Without him, 4-10.
Yeah.
He must have been a vibes guy.
He was a vibes guy.
4-10 without Whit.
But it's that the only thing that truly worries me about their foundation is they're not a fundamental team sometimes. Like you rely so heavily on the long ball. You rely heavily on, listen, they're built that way. With Schwarber leading off, that's how you're going to be, right? You're going to win that way.
Yeah.
But like scratching out runs, and we saw that against Arizona last year.
But they were doing it earlier this year. They were playing good defense. They were big, scrappy runs.
Yeah, but they're not really a scrappy. They're a dynamic team.
And I'm not getting off Bohm either. Him and his girlfriend. Extra innings, fly ball to center field. I don't know what he's doing. He runs halfway. By the time he's trying to get back to second base, as the guy's catching it, no chances, tags up and gets to third.
I know.
He's just head's not in it.
I know. And I thought of you yesterday. And then, of course, you hit me with the picture of her. I thought of you yesterday because when that play, it's like, dude, you got to be on third base.
The whole stadium screaming at everyone around me. He's so angry at him.
You got to be on third base,
right,
bro.
Yeah.
You got to be thinking it. Listen, I'll chalk it up. Again, I said it yesterday, and I'm not going to get off it. I never panic in July, August, right? Kickoff is the barometer, right? We talked about it yesterday.
Yes.
I have Memorial Day and kickoff are my two bookends when it comes to worry. I never worry pre-Memorial Day, and then if things are good, I never worry pre-kickoff. So, but I will say this, and you and I talked about it before the show. The rest of the competition has suddenly caught up. They're bunched up. You look at the Dodgers and getting Flaherty yesterday, and they did not pay a steep price.
No. I mean, we talked that Padres game. They've got some mojo. They've got some energy. Down 5-0, clawed back. The building was rocking. Their lineup is stacked. I mean, they got Arias, Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Bogarts. Jackson Merrill's got 14 dingers right now.
He's a lefty.
Yeah.
People don't know about him.
Tatis is coming back.
He's nasty. Merrill's nasty. I like him a lot. I like Cronenworth.
They got Dylan Cease. They're getting Musgrove back. That bullpen's the best bullpen in baseball now.
I mean, know. That bullpen's a super pen.
They're dangerous.
The Pods, all of a sudden, the Pods, you go, oh, my God.
They got swagger, and Tatis isn't even on the team with them right now. Wait till he brings that.
I know. The Pods, the Dodgers.
Yes.
Although
here's a little bit of good news. Some odds makers in Vegas, they asked them, and they said the obvious winners of the trade deadline are the Dodgers, Padres, and Phillies.
Well, again, I don't want to discount what they did, right? Because yesterday was just adding a lefty specialist.
Yeah.
But what they did, like I told you, I liked Halston Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was an upgrade. Now, if you think about it, that was kind of Merrifield's spot.
Yeah.
And Austin Hayes is an upgrade to Merrifield.
So far, he seems like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, just
it'd be hard not to be.
What he is, I mean, again, he's really good against left-handed pitching. And, I look at him and I like him. And then you get a true upgrade from Sir Anthony, who you couldn't pitch.
Yeah.
And by the way, you get an upgrade in that Soto's not here.
Yeah.
He disappointed me.
I'll be honest yesterday. They're an arm short. They couldn't bring anyone from Allentown or Lehigh Valley down yesterday. You're in extra innings, and you got Kirkering going 2 innings. He pitched 2 because they didn't have enough arms. Hoffman went 2. It's like, come on, like why are they an arm short?
And then you got
what's the point of having a minor league team if you can't get a guy here in an hour?
I know. No, I know. And then you got the quick turnaround today.
Yeah.
And I hate to say must win and all this stuff. You got Sanchez going, but
they got to get one.
You got to get one. You get swept.
Just for the mentality of the Phillies fans, it is horrible down there. There are Yankees guys everywhere. Well, and they are so loud and braggadocious.
I know.
Oh, my God.
I know. And listen, that Yankee team, just look at them because they were, not say dead in the water because they don't have a great start, but they were in a major funk.
Up until a P-funk. Up until they're getting right against the Phillies. They had the second worst record in baseball other than the White Sox in the last 32 games.
I still look at that lineup.
They were 10-22.
And I go, all right. Like, again, it's so top heavy with Judge. And so, by the way, Judge is, he's so, like, today's game is awesome. Like, people always go back in the day. I think baseball, other than the only thing I hate is the pitching and the pitch counts. But the players, I mean, we have Judge, Ohtani, Harper, when he's hitting. Like, we got there's some great talent. I mean, Judge
is like a Bugs Bunny cartoon character.
He is.
He's like John.
He's a cartoon character.
What is it? Paul Bunyan.
Yeah,
he's up there. The bat looks so tiny.
He's monstrous, right? Barrel chested.
Oh, his posture.
Right?
He's on first base.
Long and all,
yeah.
And he's like Hercules.
Yes.
Well, Hercules.
Yes.
He comes like, he's frightening. And then you got like Ohtani, who's like this, he's almost like this regal, like cat.
Did you see him? He is, but he got a little flustered last night on a called strike. It was the most animated he's ever been. And he's just like, no.
Yeah. But the player, like, you're talking about some incredible.
Yeah, they're like mythical right now.
Yeah, yes. I love, like, we always talk about superheroes, right?
Yeah.
And I was never into the superhero movie genre because sports, those athletes were my superheroes. Mm-hmm. And now they feel like it. Like, Judge feels like a superhero. Ohtani's like a superhero. Like, those dudes.
And when he walks to the plate, it's the Yankees fans are going nuts. The Phillies fans are trying to boo it out over, and it's loud.
Too many Yankee fans.
They're everywhere down there.
Can
I say, Hayes hits a home run. He gets drilled right between the shoulder blades his next at bat.
Yes.
These guys are dancing around the bases. The very next inning, they get 2 outs. Judge comes up. Just ding him.
Yes.
Hit him in the back. He's a big guy.
Yes.
And they don't, but they walk him anyway. And he's on first.
Yep.
Let's send a message, man. Come on.
Dude, I feel you. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk to Todd Zolecki on his way to the yard for today's afternoon game against the Yanks, the series finale. And then we'll go to the brain. But first, let me tell you about Game Time. The greatest ticket buying app is Game Time. All right? Like, you want to go down to the game today? Check out the Game Time app. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. I remember as a kid going down to the vet, and we would go last minute. Like, you want to go to the ball game? My mother would say. And my mother, my aunt, my cousin Joey, happy birthday. My cousin Joey
happy
today,
birthday,
July
Joey.
31st. He's like my brother. And we would go down to the game. We were kids and go last minute. You could do the same thing with the Game Time app. Last minute, get killer last minute deals. All in prices. You can get views from your seats. Their lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Features are amazing, right? The last minute deals. You could claim up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, comedy, theater, you name it. That these flash deals save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or ahead of the event. All kinds of stuff, man. You get the views. Like, you elect, if you're buying a seat at the bank, you can see actually what the view is from your seat. It's really cool. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets and every other ticket with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use the code PHLY. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem the code PHLY. $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest prices. Guaranteed. And we're brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. I know my girl, Kelly Baldi.
Feeling it with us.
Yes. She's the CEO of TrueMark Financial Credit Union. And Kelly's upset. I know she's now she's probably talking about kickoff because she's mad. Look, she's like you. When you join a credit union like TrueMark Financial, you become part owner, which means profits come back to you instead of going to shareholders, right? Like, it's all about local. You get better rates, get lower fees, a better return on your savings, more flexible options, all the same digital tools and all the same tech, right, that makes our lives easier. It's TrueMark Financial. They have local roots They're headquartered in Fort Washington, 24 branches across the Philadelphia area. They serve our community, our people right here at home. Becoming a member of a credit union, so many benefits, so many over being a customer at a bank. It's a no-brainer. So check it out. Head on over to truemark.com/PHLY to learn more, to find a branch near you. That's truemark.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA. And so, as we'll get ready, because we're going to talk to Todd momentarily.
Hey, guess what? The Phillies still hold a tie for the most wins in baseball, 65.
Well, here's the problem.
It's like
when you say it like that, it's like, well, they had the best record in baseball. So the fact is that you're tied now. Is a little,
Someone in.
How's the chat? How the chat? Out of our
chat's
people?
Not bad. Someone actually mentioned, I can't find it. I lost my place, but man, Aaron Judge went 32nd in the draft.
Yeah, I know that, and I kept wondering throughout his meteoric rise.
Yeah,
when you see a dude of that size, right?
Take
like
a chance.
Like I know I go overboard with that stuff.
Yeah,
but you got that kind of size.
Yeah,
and you're that kind of masher.
Yeah. Do you know it was a compensation pick that they got him with, the 32nd pick.
Oh yeah.
The compensation for Nick Swisher.
Wow.
That's a pretty good swap out.
Oh, my God. So they got the compensatory pick for losing Nick Swisher.
Turned it into Aaron Judge.
You got to be kidding me. Nick Swisher?
Yeah.
But you look at that lineup, though. I mean, Soto's.
Yeah.
By the way.
He's a nice player.
If you're the Padres, talk about how good the Padres are.
Yeah.
Like, Soto's not there. Like, imagine
he's not there.
Like, imagine that.
Holy hell.
Like, that's unbelievable that they had Soto. But the fact that the Yankees have Soto and Judge.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But after that,
it's not a great lineup.
It's really not.
No.
I mean, you go around.
Grisham.
Yeah.
Playing Wells last night. I don't even know.
Listen, he's a better writer than he is a hitter. All right.
Hey, we do have breaking news, though. The Phillies have unveiled their uniforms will change substantially today going forward. They have a sponsorship patch on their sleeve now. It starts today, the IBX. That patch is huge.
Well, listen, if you're going to pay that kind of money.
Come on, the Quickcrete, which is a hideous sponsor on the Braves, is like a third of the size of this, it feels like.
Yeah.
That's a big, bulky patch.
Yeah. It doesn't look terrible, though.
Well, they're nice that they got the powder blue with it.
Yeah, I kind of like the design.
Yeah,
listen, I'm not a big fan of the.
It's like,
but I don't blame.
It looks like it would be a thick patch on your sleeve, though. Like if it was on your throwing sleeve, it looks like a thick patch.
You don't weigh you down.
This side? Yes, man.
Put it back, Andrew.
It's a big, thick patch, man.
Is it?
You know, I mean, it looks heavy. I don't know.
I got you. It doesn't look bad with the way the color scheme makes it look good.
Color scheme's not bad. Like the Wawa Dove would have been better.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't actually. I'll be honest with you. You know what I don't like is in soccer.
Yeah.
How
they don't even have the team name on the front.
No, they just have the
like what is this?
They just have the whatever Bet360 whatever it is.
Tang beers.
Like I don't know. It's weird how they do it.
Yeah.
Andrew's
wearing a kit right now that says Standard Chartered. What is that across the front of it?
Standard Chartered, yeah. It's Liverpool's
right,
sponsor.
Liverpool. Like what? It should say Liverpool, not Standard Chartered.
You got the emblem. You got the crest right here.
Forget the crest.
Crest is smaller than an IBX patch.
No, but it is. Yeah. Forget the crest. You need the team name. That's what's bogus about soccer. Like. No, seriously, about their uniforms.
That's it.
Yeah, I do get that.
No, you got to have the team. I'm not saying you don't have advertising, but you got to have the team's got to be bigger.
Yes.
I'm
so confused when I tune into a game. I'm like what is it? Who is this?
United Emirates, the airline.
Right,
Like you see it. Like who's that? Man U.
Oh, a couple teams have that. Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. But they got. It's like, come on, man. Like you have the team. Like listen, I would be upset if it was IBX over the front of the jersey. I don't mind a patch. I'm cool with that. It's done tastefully. The uniform's there. I go like that. Whatever. By the way, that's my man Tony the Ref's company.
What is?
IBX.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Tony the ref?
Yeah, you know Tony the ref. Tony Ref.
Yeah.
He is one of the...
He works over at IBX?
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of our great listeners and watchers, and he's a big referee, high school, college ball.
All right.
You know, big referee.
Is he physically big?
He's tall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He's a
You know
big ref in
what,
town.
can you say this?
He's not Aaron Judge, but you know,
Can you just say this word for me? Faster.
faster.
Yeah. You lost your Philadelphia. You're a faster.
Faster.
Because we're all like faster. Long A.
Yeah.
Get your tickets faster.
Yeah. Well, I always worked. You know what happens is when we're having a conversation, the Philadelphia patois will kind of creep in.
Yeah.
Especially if we're just you and I talking or whatever.
Yeah.
But on the air, I've tried to over the years have tried to work.
Yeah, you do a pretty good job of it.
I went to years ago. It was a major national network that I was gonna move to Los Angeles, and it was like the deal was almost done, and it was between me and somebody else, and so they tell my representative that they said, well, it was close. We like Anthony a lot. We like his personality, but he's very ethnic. So we went with a non-ethnic,
something more.
So the ethnic
generic,
and because I worked hard on the Philadelphia patois. We all said it.
I catch you. You say basketball.
Yeah. Water,
basketball.
Yeah, like water and basketball.
Yeah. Joe Husak called me out for it is a violation. I think. I said the Wawa Dove. It's a goose. My bad. The Wawa Goose.
100% a violation. I was going to call you out on that too.
I mean, I'm not a birdsman. I'm a dogsman. I like primates. Not a birdsman.
I like a primate.
Yeah, well,
I'm a fan of the primate.
That's your spirit animal. Silverback.
I do. I love the primate.
Yeah. You got a silverback. There's some shoulder pads on it.
Yeah. Let's go, man.
Yeah.
There you do, dude. I got to tell you, speaking of football, last night we had practice. And again, it was just nothing. It was just no helmets. Like the helmets come on tonight.
Oh, man.
But can I tell you, so I watched from a perch, right? So I...
Wait, are you one of those like cherry pickers machines they put up? You rent one so you can get the sky view?
So I can just tell you right now.
Whose dad's up in the cherry picker with the air horn?
There's a bleachers. So I go to the top of the bleachers.
Okay.
And then I watch.
Yeah. And get as close as you can to the all-22.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just watch like a loser. But But if I can tell you my happy place, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the kids, and I'm looking out, and it's the clouds are. It wasn't hot. Mm-hmm. The clouds come over. There's a little bit of a breeze, and there's a tree line by the field, right?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, like I always know when it's football season because the sun sets beyond the tree line, right? Mm-hmm. And it's over in the west. And as the sun sets, the time is moving towards football because it's 7:00. Yeah. And it was still light, but the sun was over the tree line. And I go, this means football.
In a John Facenda voice.
Yeah. The sun's setting in the west. This means
Matt Decker's like, I could definitely see Cuz on a cherry picker 100 feet up with binoculars watching practice, little clipboard, maybe even a whistle.
I'm such a loser. I'm like, I'll do that. Yeah. What do you mean? Because I love his Mosko's coach is good. He tapes practice. He has 3 cameras at practice.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. 3 cameras.
Are any drones involved?
To take in practice. No drones,
all right.
But we got 3 cameras at practice. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he does a nice job with that.
Yeah.
I had a nice
Does he have camera operators or are they just set automatically? They're just rolling?
Yeah.
All right.
They're rolling.
Yeah.
Because then, And then the plays, like we're now.
Is there a playbook? Do kids get the playbook? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. But now this year used to be like pieces of paper, right?
Yeah.
The clipboard, like the mimeographed copies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, mimeograph, I don't know. But we got them? All right. But now it's going to be on the iPad. Pops up. Oh, yeah. All right. Driving in his car, heading to the ball yard. We love him. He does such a great job, and we need him today because things are a little dicey, right? A little scary. The great Todd Zolecki, MLB.com. Look at you. We got you in person.
Oh, man.
Looking sharp. What's up, my brother?
Hey, how are you? Good. What's happening, guys? I'm at the ballpark, but I'm kind of walking around. Just getting in a little quick turnaround. So,
I know. We thank you for stopping in. We need you today because there is quite a bit of panic going on across the Delaware Valley, and last night was pretty excruciating. What's the whole vibe around the club?
Oh, these guys are. That's probably about as frustrated as I've seen people in the clubhouse last night. They're just super frustrated. That's a game they should have won. There's been a few games over really since the break that they feel they should have won. They dropped that first game in Pittsburgh coming out of the break. They dropped a game in Minnesota that they had a late lead. They dropped last night's game with a late lead. And, the top of the order is not hitting. Zach Wheeler didn't pitch well the other night. And I think they're frustrated because they know they're way better than this. I'm hearing a lot of stuff from Phillies fans saying, this team's not going to win the division. They might not make the playoffs. I'm like, pump the brakes, everybody. Listen, it would be disastrous if something like that happened. I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to pull out of it, but there's no doubt they're not playing good baseball right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. But I'm with you. I mean, and I never worry. I say this, I never worry until kickoff. So I'm not concerned about that. But I am concerned about the competition because the Dodgers get Flaherty, the Padres have a super bullpen, and all of a sudden the National League looks a little more formidable.
It definitely does. The Dodgers addressed some of their needs. You mentioned Flaherty. Although it was interesting, Ken Rosenthal at The Athletic wrote last night that the Yankees were also in on Flaherty, but they backed out because there was a concern about his back with his medical. Flaherty had a back issue earlier this year. Had a couple, I guess, had some treatment done on it, and they weren't convinced that he could hold up. So that will be something worth watching the final few months of the season and into the postseason because they've had a ton of injury issues, rotation issues. Padres got better. They paid a huge price to get Tanner Scott from the Marlins, but that's something that they felt they needed to do. They've fallen short the past few years in the postseason, so they got really aggressive at the deadline. But here's where I kind of come down on the Phillies. I think if you asked people outside of Philadelphia, because we're watching this team play every day, we see their shortcomings, we see what's not been going well recently. But if you ask people outside of Philadelphia, would you rather have the Phillies roster or the Padres roster? Would you have the Phillies roster or, the Brewers roster, et cetera, et cetera? I think a lot of people say, man, that's a really good team right there. They're not playing well, there's no doubt. But Harper's going to get back on track. Turner's going to get back on track. Bowman only has a few RBIs in the last 20, 25 games. He's too good of a hitter to continue to struggle like that. And I think Strom's going to get back on track. Alvarado has pitched a little bit better recently. The talent is there. And the moves that they made at the deadline make this team better. But it's always going to come down to Harper, Turner, Realmuto, Schwarber, Wheeler, Nola, and I have no reason to think that they're not going to get this thing turned around in the next couple months.
Yeah, I mean, that's your foundation, right? And I'm with you. I still believe in their foundation. So I look at, you look at hitting, starting pitching, and the bullpen. And I still believe in all three of those things. But they got to get better, a little bit more buttoned up. They're a little sloppy. Even like you look at extra innings last night, you got to do better runners in scoring position. And I know you're right. I mean, Bryce is scuffling right now, and he'll get out of that.
Yeah, he's like 1 for 25, 1 for his last 25. That's crazy. He was player of the month in May. and June for the National League. He was playing like a MVP candidate. It was kind of, remember going into the break, it was, who's the MVP going to be? Is it going to be Ohtani or is it going to be Harper? So he's going to get a turnaround. But you're right. I mean, runners in scoring position, the bullpen is just walking way too many guys. They're not throwing enough strikes. That to me is what is frustrating Rob Thompson the most right now with the bullpen. He's like, the guys go out there, they just got to start throwing strikes. Let the Yankees beat you with their bats. Don't let the Yankees beat you because you walked a couple guys and now you're in deep trouble. And now you're in a high pressure situation against a very, very good Yankees lineup. I mean, gosh dang, how do you pitch? How do you pitch? Soto and Judge and Jazz Chisholm's playing out of his mind right now, feeling the juice from that trade from the Marlins. So they got to do better. There's no doubt.
And just little things, and I chalk it up to a lot. You've been doing this for a long time, and you know it. I know you feel it because I felt it when I was a beat guy. Like I felt the length of the season, and they do. And so little things like Bohm's got to be on third on that fly ball, right? And it's those little things that creep up in July, August, where your head starts to float a little bit.
Yeah, Bowman needed to be on third there. He should have tagged up the score. But you mentioned like the length of the season. So, and I'm not expecting this to relax any Phillies fans, but it was something I found interesting. So after Monday night's loss, they had lost 9 out of 13. So you're 4-9. I went back and looked at every Phillies postseason team. There's only been 16, so it didn't really take that long. but I went back and looked. 14 of those 16 postseason teams in Phillies history all had a 4-9 in stretch or worse during the course of the season. The 2022, 2023 teams had a bad stretch like that. Every year from 2007 to 2011, they had a bad stretch like that. The 1980 World Series team, they had a bad stretch like that. The only 2 times a Phillies postseason team did not have a 4-9 stretch or worse during the course of the season was 1977 and 1993. And I only looked that up because everybody's like, they're terrible. I've never seen a team play like this before. No good team plays like this. And I'm like, no, actually, every good Phillies team, almost every good Phillies team, has had a really bad stretch at some point over the course of the season. It might have happened early in April or May. Might have happened in the middle of the season like it is happening right now. Might have happened at the end like it did in 2011. I think you'd rather have them get it out of their system now if this is what this is, just what you believe to be a short period of time of bad baseball, rather than what happened at the end of 2011, which is they're playing kind of bad, they're kind of coasting in, they haven't played a meaningful game in months, and then they kind of go into the postseason cold. So they're just food for thought, and I'm not excusing the play right now. I'm just saying a little perspective sometimes in moments like these can kind of help people relax a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. And again, I'm sure that if you go back and look at, World Series champions, teams that have been in the World Series, you'll see something similar like that. I just think that's a hallmark to baseball. Nobody plays at that kind of ridiculous clip for 162, except the Mariners, and they didn't win.
Exactly. Think about the pace the Phillies were on. I think after they won that first game in London, they beat the Mets in London on Saturday. They had a over 700 winning percentage. They were on pace to win 113 games, and it was cool to think oh my gosh, could this be one of the best teams in baseball history? But now they're on pace to win 98. They no longer have full share of the best record in baseball. Now they're tied with the Guardians for the best record in baseball. They still have the best record in the National League, and they still have a big lead in the NL East. So they just got to get it turned around. They got to get it turned around at some point. And I don't think – listen, if we're talking in 2, 3, 4 weeks from now and we're like, holy crap, they've lost 20 out of their last 32 games, and then maybe it's time to worry a little bit. But I think they'll be okay.
Dude, I say the same thing. I say the same thing, which is right as you get to kickoff, approaching kickoff, if you're scuffling then, now I'm worried.
Right. So, they think they're going to get Ranger Suarez back on that final leg of this upcoming 3-city road trip. They think he's going to be back to pitch against the Diamondbacks. Taiwan Walker could be back at some point soon, maybe before Ranger. Remains to be seen. He would take Colby Allard out of the rotation. I don't know. That will be interesting to me to see how well he does. Now, Rob Thompson, it's funny. Every time Taiwan Walker throws a bullpen or he throws a live BP, they absolutely rave about how great he's throwing. The velo's up. The splitter is unbelievable. The command is really good. We'll see. We'll see. But he would help. I know that's. I'm not saying that. He's going to be a savior. People are looking at him as a savior.
That's not panacea, right?
No. Tom was talking me off. He was talking me off the ledge that he's bringing up Taiwan Walker.
No, I guess. Well, let me put it this way: I would much rather have Taiwan Walker in this rotation right now than Colby Allard. And so maybe he can be back before if he can be back before Ranger comes back. That's at least a quality starter rather than what they've got.
What's up with Turnbull?
Turnbull he just started to throw off the mound. He threw off the mound the other day. I think it was Monday. He threw off the mound here, and then he went back to Clearwater, where he's going to continue to rehab. It sounds to me like he's not going to have an opportunity to get stretched out before the end of the season. So it sounds like his rotation days are over. Not saying, I guess something could happen where they change their mind or he comes back quicker than they expect. It sounds to me, though, that when Turnbull comes back, he's going to be a bullpen piece. So right now, the way the bullpen is made up, he could be the long man. He could fill the Jose Ruiz role possibly.
Gotcha.
Hey, Todd, most people have, it doesn't feel like it, but most people have the Phillies as one of the 3 or 4 winners of free agency. But one of the losers that seems to be popular is the Braves. And are you surprised? Are the Braves thrown in the towel? They didn't do much this trade deadline.
Yeah, they really didn't do that much. I think a lot of people were, I don't want to say worried, but a lot of people were thinking that they were going to go out and get Crochet yesterday to bolster their rotation because they've had so many injuries and they've been down a little bit. Just does not seem to be their year. And Alex Anthopoulos is usually pretty aggressive. I think I don't think he sees the writing on the wall. I don't think he's giving up on the season by any means, but I also think he's probably being a little pragmatic and sees a team that's struggling. A lot of their stars aren't playing well. They have some pitching issues. And so, is this the year to, make a big, bold move when he might still be a little bit short? So I still think they're a good team. I still think they can be a dangerous team. And I still think this, if the Phillies ended up playing the Braves in the NLDS, I think there'd be some nervous Phillies fans going, I hope they don't, flip the table on us and, flip the script on us and take the Phillies down the NLDS. So that'll be something to watch. But the Braves have certainly struggled, there's no doubt.
Hey, real quick, Todd, and thank you so much, my brother. Did you hear, was Tariq Skubal being talked about? Like, was anything serious? Were they entertaining any offers in Detroit?
I did not hear his name as much as I heard Garrett Crochet's name. The Phillies were interested in kind of monitoring Garrett Crochet, which would have been interesting. Maybe they would have viewed him as a starter down the stretch and then a bullpen arm. Now, there was that whole situation where, he would not, his agent had said, or, he had said that he would not have pitched in the postseason without a contract extension. I don't necessarily believe that it would have definitely gone down that road. But I do know this, the White Sox were asking for a huge package of prospects in return for Garrett Crochet. And from the Phillies' point of view, that package started with Andrew Painter or Aiden Miller, one of their top 2 prospects. Wow. And then who knows how many other guys were in there that they would have wanted as well. So I think the Phillies were interested, but they weren't willing to pay that price at this time. So maybe in the offseason, that's something that they kind of circle back and take a look at. But right now, but I didn't hear Tarek Skubal as much as I heard Garrett Crochet.
Brother, listen, thank you so much, buddy. Always love your input, love your takes. You're the best, pal. Go enjoy the game today. Hopefully they salvage the series. Salvage one.
Yeah, they need one for sure. They need one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Here he is, Todd Zolecki. Check it in.
The lineup is out for today. Trey Turner getting a day off. Schwarber, Hayes, Harper, Bohm, Casty, Sosa, Wilson, Stubbs, Rojas. Now, Sosa, Wilson, Stubbs, Rojas. Are you kidding me? When they need a win, this is what they're going to bring out?
See, I got a problem with that.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Except Topper.
I know he's looking at it like this was on the schedule.
Yeah.
Like this was on the schedule, for a week.
The days off, yeah.
Right? Like, they're like, we're going to do this here. But it's the Yankees, and you really need the game. Like, I get, why can't you give Turner a day off over the weekend, like Saturday?
Right.
Right? Like,
it's not like he didn't have a few weeks off not that long ago.
Like, he needs to play.
Yes.
You're just too weak.
I'm talking,
Sosa,
JT's
Wilson,
second game back?
Stubbs.
Come on.
Fourth game. I just don't like doing that. I honestly don't like.
Lineup stinks.
I know.
Sosa, Wilson, Stubbs, Rojas. Out.
I know.
Sosa's all right. He's had half a bat.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I don't like it. Let's go to our man, Ty, for the brain.
Brain. Red the brain finder.
Did you hear that lineup, Brain?
It's great stuff. It's elite. Now, I got to ask you a question, Anthony. I heard you talking to Todd about Garrett Crochet and Tariq Skubal, but I know I texted you last night, and I don't know if I didn't hear if maybe Todd said something before this. The Jack Flaherty thing, I can't figure this one out. This is a guy, again, these things in baseball, we talk about baseball all the time. Guys going streaks in good pockets where they're good. He's right now been as good as any pitcher in the league, more or less. Okay? He hasn't been that much worse than Skubal even. He's a rental. We get that. That's fine. The Dodgers gave up their 8th best prospect, not a top 100 prospect. I'm trying to understand not only how the Dodgers were able to get him for so little, but why no other team would say, you know what, let me beat that. The Phillies team seemingly gave up more for Estevez. Seemingly. Again, I'm just trying to understand.
I don't. That's not seemingly. I think it's true. I think they gave up way more for Estevez than it would have been for Flaherty. I think they desperately wanted another high leverage right-hander in that bullpen. If it's a choice between the closer and Flaherty, listen, I love Flaherty, but that bullpen needed another arm in it that you can count on,
Yeah, but also I will say this, though, Anthony. You're not going to need 5 starters in the postseason, right? So theoretically, if they added Flaherty, someone theoretically good could have gone to the bullpen as well.
Right, but listen, to your point, that's when Suarez becomes your super lefty,
right? Exactly, the hybrid
who comes
guy
in at any time, and that was really effective in the run 2 years ago.
Exactly. So again, I don't know. I'm just really perplexed would be the word I'm using. That a guy who to me has been, this guy's every game is like 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. I'm just surprised. And it's funny, San Diego traded every single player in the world to add their bullpen. And look, it's funny, Tanner Scott, no one really knows who he is, but he's probably the last 2 years been the best reliever in all of Major League Baseball.
I know.
But it's like if they had said, all right, look, we'll try to add with Michael King and get him. That could have been an amazing 1-2 punch for them. And Dylan Cease. I'm just surprised at other teams. The Mets, I don't know. I'm just surprised
I thought the Mets
was
actually
able
were going to make a run at him. Yeah, I agree. No, it was pretty cheap.
Surprising me.
And then you look at the Dodgers, and you look at their rotation, and all of a sudden, so you got Glasnow back. You probably get Yamamoto back, right? Because he had the calf thing at some point. You're going to probably get Walker Buehler. I know he's been.
Well, Dodgers should now be the favorite. To me, opinion, Dodgers now the favorite. I think the Dodgers now have a better team than the Phillies. You add a legitimate guy like that. Again, if he pitches the way, let me stress this. If he pitches the way he's been pitching, which has been as a top 5 starter in the world, okay, if he keeps pitching as a top 5 starter in the world, I think that bumps him over Philadelphia. But again, the counter argument would be he hadn't done this in 4 years. He hasn't pitched at this level or whatever it's been. So maybe, Phillies think kind of like Ranger Suarez wasn't able to continue his great pace. Maybe they're thinking, okay, Jack Flaherty, it's been forever since he's been this good. Let me prove it. Can he do it over 162 games versus just 100?
And to talk about the rotation point again, in the playoffs, you're going to use 3. So,
Correct.
I mean, right now it's not a lock that he's in a top 3 in their rotation, depending on who gets healthy.
I mean, I'm just going to say this. If he pitches the way he's pitching, it would have been a lock. But again, I would say the argument would be it's hard for anyone to pitch at the level he's pitching, Anthony. I think the guy, I don't know of his exact stats, but I think he may lead in K per innings. His ERA is microscopic. His hits per inning is microscopic.
No, listen, he looks like he's back to himself. Like, I'm with you. But you look at them, they got Yamamoto and they got Buehler on the horizon coming back.
Yeah, and obviously Kershaw just came back, and Glass now is as good as anyone. I'm just saying, I think that was something the Dodgers needed. Obviously, Betts will come back for the playoffs. Freeman, hopefully the scare with his son. Hopefully that works itself out, and his little boy's okay, and he comes back soon. But like to me, I think the Dodgers. I think they needed one more really good starter, and I think they added it. That was the one team, as a Phillies fan, that I didn't want to get involved with Jack Flaherty. That was the only team. I didn't care if he went to America, whatever. But National League, Dodgers is theoretically their biggest.
Well, I'll tell you the
opponent.
other one, and VG and I talked about it before the show. The Padres scare me, man. The Padres have a really good lineup, and they got a great bullpen now. So
the best bullpen. They have the best bullpen now. They have now like multiple guys deep in this pen where they have like an extremely deep bullpen. So what they're going to do is, Anthony, in these 2-1 games after 5th inning, you're going to be like, oh shoot, man, I'm in trouble, because they're going to bring in these guys, boom, 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 boom. And you're like, Jesus, like this, we just lost 2-1. They're going to be able to do that to you. The question is, look, offensively, do they have enough? I mean, I love getting air. Again, I love getting areas for them. They lost, obviously. Fernando Tatis, will he come back? I'm not sure.
He's coming back. I thought he was coming back.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to come back. But again, you don't know effectiveness. Will he still be okay? But again, this is a team that Machado is kind of. We talk about these good players who struggle. Machado's not having a quote unquote typical Machado year, but obviously he has the pedigree to turn that around. But I agree with you. The Padres, to me, are a live team.
I like them. I don't know what Cronenworth. We were talking about it. Profar turned out to be a player. Jackson Merrill,
he's been great.
Love him. Left-handed bat.
Bogart's having a good year.
Bogart's is back. Yeah, I mean,
they have a good team. I'll say this:
they scored
to me,
503 runs so far. I mean, Phillies over 522. Their offense is pretty legit.
Yeah, and again, like they have Darvish on the DL. And it's funny, they lost Darvish and Musgrove, who were they're considered to be their 2 best starters. I mean, this is a team that hasn't really been lucky per se. They've had to fight through stuff, and credit to them. And again, will it work out? Again, Preller's been there. The GM, AJ Preller's been there since forever and a day. But I always try to say, all right, I'm running a franchise, so do I want to just, really, he's going to be there tomorrow and the next year. He's literally traded all his prospects. I mean, that farm is barren. So it's like, okay, I mean, they better win. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I'm not talking like losing in the NLCS. I'm talking they need to win a World Series, or to me, just get into the playoffs, even get into the World Series. I would not call it a success, because San Diego's never won a World Series, and they traded all their prospects to go all in here.
Hey, Brad, I'm looking at BetParx National League winner. Dodgers are a plus 175. Phillies are a plus 200. So pretty close. Do you think it's worth a run? I'm looking. The Padres are 15-1.
Yeah, I think it. Now, here's the only thing, VG. The only negative is they're going to have to play 3 series. So when I do the math on that, I basically go 0.5, 0.4, 0.4. I think it comes out to around 8%, where they should be about 11 or 12-1. So yeah, I do think 15-1 is worth it. How do I get these numbers? I think in the first round, whoever they play in a best of 3, it'll be close to 110 both sides. And if they play Philly and the Dodgers, I think those teams will be about $1.50 to $1.60 favorites over them. I think at least 3-2 favorites. So that's how I come up with those numbers of why I think that it is a good bet at 15-1 odds. Now, if you get a miracle and they win the division, then it's an incredible bet. But even if they don't, again, I don't really see a way they're not going to make the playoffs. I would really be surprised. To me, I think it is worth a bet. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Bradley.
Brad,
Just the odds, man. I think the Phillies are better. I think the Dodgers are better. But I would actually say right now today, I would probably rate them the third best team in the NL.
Clearly the best team in I thought the best team in baseball. Certainly the best team in the National League. And now, it's jumbled.
It's jumbled for sure.
I mean, BetParx still has them as second favorite to win the World Series. Dodgers and Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's fair. Again, listen, we talk about. I know we talked about it yesterday, and again, they Garrett Cole gets scratched, so it's a game they really, they go from being a tiny favorite to they really should have won yesterday's game. Mm-hmm. They blow the. Again, I got to tell you, it's funny. Matt Strom is now, I think it's 3 or 4 games he's come in with like 2 or 3 run leads in the last 3 weeks. The Pirates game, the Twins game, this game, where he's just given up like 3 runs and boom, and look, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's getting tired or whatnot, but I mean, you can't, I mean, it's tough to keep blowing these games when you're leading late.
Yeah. Today, Phils are a slight favorite.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Well, look, I will say this: Nestor Cortez has been struggling. He really has been struggling. Sanchez has been great all year, very undervalued. Again, the thing is, you look at the Phillies lineup; it's like, they're putting out their let's call it their D lineup.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm saying I skipped from B to D. I didn't go.
You're right.
I think this is more or less.
Skip all the way down to S for sucks.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So, but that being said, and again, I don't think I'm being stubborn. I still would lean Philadelphia here. I think they have, and it's funny. Give the Yankees credit. Yesterday, Mark Leiter comes in, another bullpen arm added, and Leiter's been terrific for the Cubs. They added him, and he comes in and he gets a big inning when there's a man on second, doesn't allow a run to score. So I lean here, Philadelphia, though. I know that they don't have their top lineup. I just don't trust Cortez. I think the Phillies win the game. I do. I just think that the pitching matchup really does favor them. I don't trust Nestor Cortez right now.
Hey, Brad, I have 2 things for you. People want to know if the dog has a name yet.
No, it's funny. The dog does not have a name. I think it may. There's a chance it may become Flora. I don't even know.
Flora.
This dog. I don't ask me. Again, it's. I don't really like any names.
Rite Aid for a little.
Maybe you guys should put up a thing. Put up a thing of like put up the best name, and I'll just go with it. Go with the best name that the listeners come up with.
I love it.
And we're missing Versace. It's our first day without him.
Oh man, yeah. Well, be lucky. I appreciate you guys.
But you got to do the kid a favor. We need you to buy him a going away present. This was his shirt yesterday. It's a little wrinkled. Looks like it was balled up on the bottom of the closet. We need to get him a handheld steamer so when he goes to Vanderbilt, he can iron these wrinkles out of his shirts.
Yeah, no, you're right. That really does look. It looks like something I'd be wearing. I wear wrinkled stuff too, like father, like son. But I hear you on that. I'll get on the ball on that. I will tell you a couple plays I like today. Taj Bradley, guys. Right now, again, we talk about guys who he's Taj. My man. He's been pitching well as anyone. Again, he's been in that schoolboy class too. It's pricey. It's pricey. Over 17.5 outs minus $1.80. But I think this bet wins about 3 out of 4 times right now. The Marlins lineup right now is just dreck. I'll put it like that. I think Taj Bradley's gone over his last 4 games easily. I think he gets 6 innings pitched against a horrible Marlins lineup. And then Chris Sale, his last 15 starts, 14 of them he's allowed 2 or less runs. 10 of those 15 starts, he's allowed 0 or 1 run. You could take the Brewers team total under 3.5 runs on Parx. I think it's minus $1.35. I look at it like this. He's going to pitch probably 7 innings. Iglesias is fine at the end of the pen. This is a bet that's been winning basically every game of the year. Could the Brewers do it? Sure, but I'll take my chances. Chris Sale pitches like Chris Sale.
Yeah, I feel you.
4 runs is a lot.
We might already have a winner in the chat room with dog names. They say Wrinkles.
Oh, Wrinkles!
I like it. I actually like Wrinkles.
Wrinkles is good. That's good.
That's Matt Deckard in the chat.
Nice job, Matt. I like Wrinkles. That's good
I like
stuff.
Wrinkles. All right. Yeah. I think
hey, we love the kid, man. So it was a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate that, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
And that's like father, like son.
You're a good man.
All right, pal.
Good luck, Phillies. All right, buddy.
Good luck. Thanks, buddy. The Brain checking in. As always, the Daily Grind with the Brain, brought to us by the BetParx Sportsbook and Casino app. I'm on the app now. I'm looking at it. and Sanchez and the Fightins. They're a 122 favorite. I hate the lineup too, but Cortez. Brad's right. Cortez has been struggling for the Yankees. I don't know. Maybe there's a Schwarbaum.
Phillies team over 4.5 is minus 125.
Yeah, that's
wow.
I don't know. I don't the way they're scuffling.
I know.
And the way Bryce. Maybe this is a snap out game. That's the problem with when you're looking at baseball. You can't. Keep looking at their due.
Yeah, with these numbers, you might as well just do a parlay, a couple dingers, Schwarber, Harper dingers.
Yeah, go for a pizza bet.
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah.
All right. That's the way to do it. And you could bet all those combos when it comes to the BetParx Sportsbook app. You can go in game. You can take a look at them, right? In game. If they look at having some life early, you jump in right then and there. I'm telling you, the BetParx Sportsbook app has everything you like. Plus the casino. Play live baccarat, live roulette, several live blackjack games. You can play them all right now with a live dealer right on your phone. It's pretty cool. The BetParx online casino and sportsbook app. Hundreds of exciting online slots. Zeus, fantastic fireworks, Lucky Cherry, all the action and excitement from the casino right at your fingertips. Safe, simple, easy to use. A BetParx Sportsbook Casino app, the only app that I'll recommend. And right now, new users, you can get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in your first 24 hours. BetParx.com has all the details. Got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, Michigan. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. And we're brought to you by Primo's. Yesterday, we were at the Primo Hoagies over in South Jersey.
Great time.
What was that? Just a blast?
Yeah, good people. Store was beautiful. They all look the same. They feel the same to Primo's. The food is consistent. They do a great job all around.
You went nuts over the Pickies.
Ah, yeah, I love that.
So I highly
board.
recommend the Pickies.
Yeah,
That's why we call them Pickies. Love the Pickies for football.
Oh,
any sports.
Yeah.
Because you get a big trade. You get your cheeses and pepperoni and supersized
cured meats.
Yeah, it's fun. And then the roll is the best. They brought a seeded roll out
hot
from the oven.
Delicioso.
Yes, that's right. That's right, Skeeves. It was ridiculous. Then you get the hot bread and you have the Pickies with it. That's a great.
You dip it in whatever that oil is, the mozzarella balls.
No, it's tremendous. It's fun. All the hoagies and sandwiches. I brought back a meatball sandwich for Anthony. He went nuts. And a cheesesteak for Massimo.
I thought maybe just throw it on the floor and let them like rugby style over the meatball. Bend your knees. Let's go.
Let's go. Say it. Primo's. Don't cook tonight. Go to your local Primo's. PrimoHoagies.com for the store nearest you. Over 90 locations across the Delaware Valley. Over 120 across the nation.
Wild.
And lots and lots more popping up. So check out PrimoHoagies.com. You'll say what I always say, it's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo. All right, we've reached the 10 o'clock hour, and at some point, we hope to have Baldi.
He's just jet-setting training camp to training camp.
Yes, so Baldi is in Jacksonville.
All right.
So he's hanging out with Dougie P.
Nice.
In Jacksonville right now.
That's got to be fun.
So he's been doing all the camps. He was with Aaron Rodgers over the weekend.
Okay.
And Rodgers, what's funny, just talk a little football. Rodgers is a guy that I still love. I know he's quirky and he has his ways and all.
Yeah.
But I find him extremely interesting and entertaining. And if he's healthy, they're going to be good.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's a kookalook, but I like having kookalooks around.
I like him. I enjoy him. The interview with Baldy was really good.
The Jets, if he's healthy, the Jets are going to be competitive. They're going to be a good squad.
Yeah, but he's speaking of Jacksonville, and
there's
Doug,
a lot of questions down there. Quarterback, coach.
It's interesting to me that Doug and Nick, they're very similar in kind of how it's worked out, right? The coordinator thing, losing both coordinators, all of a sudden the slide happens.
I thought you were talking about Doug and Nick Foles. When I hear Nick, I just think Nick Foles. Okay.
Doug and Peterson and Sirianni.
All right.
Now you love Dougie P.
I am a Doug fan,
right?
Yeah,
but you're not a Nick fan.
I am not.
And
I mean, he's fine.
They're very similar in how it's played out. It's been very similar.
I don't know. I mean, Doug's a lifer in the pros, and he made his bones coaching, and he won a Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know. They're not that much similar.
Oh, I think they are more. I think as far as duties are concerned, they both got to the Super Bowl. Now Doug wins the game. Now, the epic Super Bowl against Kansas City. I mean, he's a flag away from winning the Super Bowl or a silly fumble.
So many coaches could say that, though.
Really? That many could?
Yeah.
I mean, Super Bowls. I mean, not that many coaches can say it. But maybe Shanahan could say it, but not many other ones.
Schottenheimer.
Okay, that's 2, right? So my point is, and then they both, after the Super Bowl, lose their coordinators and then struggle.
Yeah, but Doug put his foot down. He was not going to have it happen again, and they're like, all right, beat it. Where we got a guy here he's like, okay, take him and put him in a jar on the shelf. I'll hang out with you guys.
Well, no, but look at the coordinators. No, Howie smartly says, listen, we can't go through what we went through with Doug. Doug couldn't fix the coordinator issue. They wanted to fire.
He wanted to keep his dudes.
Yeah, they stunk.
Yeah, but I won a Super Bowl. These are my guys.
Okay, but they didn't win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Those coordinators.
Right.
And those guys weren't up to par.
Yeah.
Those guys were horrible.
Yeah, but I respected Doug who died on the sword.
Get the hell out of here. He didn't know anybody. He couldn't figure out. He couldn't fix the problem. No, it's true. One of the issues that Doug had, I like Doug, but one of the issues that Doug had was that the Rolodex wasn't.
But nobody likes Doug?
No, my point. I'm asking you. You love Doug.
I don't love Doug.
You hate Sirianni, and in truth, there's parallels there. Why do you give one the complete benefit of the doubt while the other
because one's a lifer NFL guy who won a Super Bowl, and the other's a guy from Mount Union who's been pushed through because a couple of people like him.
Lifer because he was a backup quarterback, and Andy Reid kept him around because he knew Andy's
He's a good guy. He's a good clubhouse guy. Knew the system.
Nick. He's a good locker room guy.
We're going to see this year. This year we'll see.
Skis, he won't give Sirianni an inch.
I don't.
He can't stand Sirianni.
The coolness of Doug in that moment of Philly. Yeah.
Doug didn't call the play.
No, but he has to say, he goes.
Yeah, that was Nick Foles who called that play.
No, but Doug says.
Let's do it. The coolness comes from Foles.
Nah, but if you came over to me.
Doug's looking at the chart. He's got the glasses down. He look at the chart.
Yeah.
And he looks up like, and he goes, I don't know what to do.
Nah.
And Foles goes, how about Philly?
And he's like,
all right, let's go.
Yeah, he's like,
you want a turkey Diablo? All right, let's get out of here.
Doug was like, yeah, let's do it.
If Doug
good idea. Let's do this.
If Doug
good idea. How many I can just tell you from being around a lot of NFL coaches that 99% of them would have been like, we're going to go right Z54
and they would have been wrong. Doug's emotional intelligence left it open. He's listened to the play. His quarterback wanted to run, and he said, "All right." Now Nick comes.
Give him credit.
Foles comes over to Sirianni. And he says, "Philly." Nick's like, "What? Philly, you crazy?" Off tackle, tush push. He's not running Philly.
Oh, tush push would have worked.
Yeah, it would have worked, but he ain't running Philly.
Right. Well, I don't know.
Those got stones.
Just the one thing you can say about Sirianni to his detriment that he has stones.
Yeah, to his detriment.
All right, you can say that. So you can't say he don't have stones.
Well, he had them. Howie's got them now. In a jar behind his desk.
I always am amused by your takes on.
I think your boy Sirianni's going to shine this year. I think he's in the perfect role. I think he'll have a good year.
Yeah. All right. Well, we always kind of have some fun with that sort of thing. Yeah.
No, but I think he's going to have a good year. I think this is good for him.
Yeah. No, listen. I feel you. All right. Let's do some nugs while we wait.
Snap. All right.
For Baldi, because I don't. Baldi right now may or may not be here.
Yeah.
As you never know if he's being with Baldi, right, is like you never know what'll happen. Like he'll get called over. He reminds me, like my son is a lot like Moscow is a lot like Baldy because because if there's all of a sudden like Trevor Lawrence is here, then Baldy goes, well, I'm supposed to be on the show, but I'm going to go sit with Trevor Lawrence, right? Like you could say, Andrew, our producer, Skeeves, how about at the Super Bowl? Like his head was like on like 360.
He was everywhere,
right? And then the minute a player came over or a coach, he just went like this, like he would lose his attention. I'm like, dude, we got to do this segment. In a minute. And he would go right over to the boat. And he'd walk over, and he'd give you the Baldy look, and they would go, how about he nodding his head, and everybody loves him, right? So they would go, Baldy! That's right, Baldy's here. All right, hit us with some nugs.
I was walking around the stadium last night. There's always some interesting jerseys and shirts. I want you to guess. What did I see last night? Did I see a Scott Kingery shirt or jersey or a Steve Jeltz shirt or jersey last night?
Well, the way you say it, I got to say you saw a Steve Jeltz.
Well, take a look at the screen. I saw both of them.
Oh, my God. Jeltz and Kingery together. Guys, what?
Who's got the Jeltz? Powder blue.
Why would you get a Steve Jeltz jersey? I got to know this guy. Kingery, I can understand.
I don't think they were wearing the powder blues with Jeltz, were they? That's going to be a throwback.
I think they were.
They were?
Yeah.
I think he's been holding on to it.
Well, that's what I got to find out about that. Yeah. Like, Kingery, I get.
Yeah, I mean, a couple years ago, so much hype on him.
You always want to dive in on
He's having a good season, by the way.
I know. You always want to dive in on the prospect, right? So I get the Kingery, but I don't get Jeltz was free. Jeltz might have been my most hated Philly of all time.
I had to make 2 notes because I was going to confuse him with Stones. Jeff
Stone
and Steve Jeltz. They're like one and the same for me back then at that time.
Yeah, but Jeff Stone they called skates.
Yeah.
He was so fast. He was too fast for his body. They couldn't catch up to his feet.
Yes.
So he would fall down a lot.
It was a guy like the guy on the Cardinals, Lonnie Smith.
Lonnie Smith, who was a Philly.
He was like skates too.
Yeah. But he was a better ball player, Lonnie Smith. Yeah. But skates was awful. Jeltz was a feeble shortstop, right? Who used to drive me nuts. You're a shortstop with a pencil bat. Why do you pop up and sky out all the time?
Every time?
Like he was the sky out king. Like the shallow pop fly.
Yeah. I don't know why you get that jersey.
Why would you get that jersey? I want to talk to that guy and just ask him, so what possessed you to do that? And what possessed you to wear it in 2024?
Right.
Maybe his last name's Jeltz.
Maybe.
Maybe he's just like, hey, I'm going to buy the jersey. It's got my last name.
You're not wrong, Frage.
That could be the only reason why I'd think.
I would be a terrible cop because I saw an Arrieta shirt and I lost them in the crowd. I wanted to do a trifecta of which ones did I see and throw the Arrieta name in, but I saw an Arrieta down there too last night.
You saw a Jake jersey?
Yeah.
The Jake jersey.
Wild.
It's gross.
Oh, my God.
All right, yesterday we had dragonfish talk, the dragonflies all over the beach in Rhode Island after your locust story on Monday. And there's just more of this. Little Egg Harbor in New Jersey.
Yeah, Little Egg Harbor.
Has a fish kill going on where this lagoon is covered in dead fish. It happens every so many years, but they say the stench is like porta-johns. You can't even go down near this lagoon. And then you have...
Oh, my God, look at all those fish.
You have all these birds coming, eating and taking dumps everywhere. So there's birds crapping all over the place. They have all
dead
these fish
and bird poop.
Yes, at Little Egg Harbor.
Oh, poor Little Egg Harbor.
Stones on the ground.
They look like stones.
I thought it was pebbles.
So I guess the county's going to have to come out with a vacuum and just suck them all up to get rid of it.
So that happened. So that's not
like every
one of
4
the
or
7
5 years,
plagues.
I think. No.
Because, by the way the world's going, it wouldn't surprise me if that was a plague.
Oh, yeah.
The dying
we
of
got
fish.
dragonflies.
Yes.
Fish kills.
Yes.
Bird
Did you ever see that
flu.
horrible movie? It was Demi Moore is like there's the plagues, and like she gives birth to basically the Messiah.
Oh, I think I did.
I think I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
What's it called? Our chat will know it.
Seventh Sign?
Seventh Sign. Good job.
That's a big pagan thing.
The Seventh Sign.
Yeah.
And it was, listen, it was an entertaining premise. Yeah. And like they had the plagues, the locusts, the dead fish on the beach.
I remember that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Always like a nug that has to do with a plague.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep a theme going.
Because you're not worried about the Phillies. You think it's the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't have much Phillies. I was trying to get away from the Phillies to get our mind off with the Nugs today in baseball. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr., he's agreed to play Dr. Doom in the new Avengers film. What do you think his fee is?
Well, I got to ask you a question. He was...
Iron Man. Played Iron Man.
So what? So you can't have Iron Man coming back and playing another character.
So here's the thing. Marvel is going into this multiverse thing where like some guys have gone bad because it's from a different universe, parallel universes, all this crazy stuff. They've gone into some wild stuff. So the whole thing is that this is like a bad Iron Man who turned into Dr. Doom. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing on the internet.
So now he's an evil character.
So he's the evil Tony Stark, Dr. Doom. I don't know if he's Tony Stark, but yeah, he's apparently from
Dr.
Parallel
Doom
universe.
is going to try to take over the world? Is that it?
He's the big bad, yeah.
He's a billionaire tech guy?
Or something like that. Well, Jonathan Majors was supposed to be the big bad, but he got in trouble with some, stuff.
All
legal
right.
stuff.
Suddenly we're at Comic-Con here.
I know, man.
How much? $80 million to play this role. $80 million.
Is that for how many films?
2.
He's getting 40 a pop?
Yes. And,
oh, my God.
He's demanded private jet travel, dedicated security, and a whole trailer encampment.
Get the bleep out of here. He has a trailer encampment.
I don't even know what a trailer encampment is.
Well,
it's like 5, like a little town?
Yeah.
He's got a little town?
The encampment is 5 trailers or 6 trailers.
That's crazy.
Like you think
these comic book movies are nuts.
No, they're insane. But dude, like dedicated security?
Like who's after Robert Downey Jr.?
Like Robert Downey Jr. Like
he could walk in here right now and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Who's this guy?"
Exactly. What's up? We doing, bro?
Yeah.
You all right?
The real reason he's playing that part is because Marvel is so oversaturated now with all these movies that they're falling really bad, and they need to kind of like recapture what they had like in 2010. So they're trying to bring back the original cast in like creative ways.
He's right.
It's
how many are you going to do? And I still don't even understand the raccoon. And I
Rocket.
Yeah. What's
from the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
Yeah, he's just a character that
no,
was like
I know.
Space raccoon.
Space raccoon.
Anthony likes it, so I take him to the movies.
Guardians are good.
I may or may not be looking at baseball scores in my, but you get it.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a yo to St. Hubert's Animal Welfare Center in Morris County, New Jersey. They're doing this program where they have all the dogs in the shelter. People can volunteer and take them on field trips. You could take them to the mountains hiking for the day. You could take them to the beach for the day. You could just like do field trips with them. And I have friends who do this. Every time they vacation in a town, they go to the local animal shelter and see if they can take the dogs out for the day on. Because like if they're exploring the town, they try and get the dogs some exercise and stuff, and then it really helps them acclimate to humans and other dogs and helps them become more adoptable. So this Morris County shelter's doing good stuff.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
All right, now let's get to some Olympics.
All right, let's do it. I've been waiting for this because you are my Olympic, my Olympic sports center.
Yeah, I've been all in on
because I have not, I haven't watched much of it.
It's a shame. I mean, they're on in the afternoon. It's so nice. We get home and you got them till like 6 o'clock. They're on.
I'm at practice. I got stuff. I mean, it's tough, and I haven't seen it.
All right,
and I want to. So
the women's gymnasts won. USA won.
Well, I know
the team final yesterday. Yeah. Simone Biles is now the winningest gymnast in U.S. history. She's got 8 medals, 5 golds,
God bless her,
a silver and 2 bronze. So how tall do you think she is?
Simone is what, like 5'2"?
Here's a picture of her next to Shaquille. She's 4'8".
Wow.
She's up to his belly button.
Look at that. That's amazing.
It's wild, right?
That is wild.
4'8".
Wow. Well, you don't see tall gymnasts.
Nah, but I was surprised,
Yeah, 4'8". Yeah, she's tiny.
So
There was actually a problem talking about tall gymnasts. One of the women, I forget which team she was on, but she was actually tall. And when they do the bars, when they spin up and down the bar and they have to flip to the next one, she was so tall that she was having a problem almost clearing the ground because she was almost dragging her feet.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
So the U.S., I was watching women's basketball versus Japan, and Japan's tallest player was 6'1". And they're draining threes. They're hitting threes in like 6'9" players. But France played Japan. Japan's got a guy 5'4". And here he is matched up against Wemby.
Wow. Oh, my God.
7'4" versus 5'4".
Holy moly.
The Japanese are at a real disadvantage in this game.
Oh,
basketball.
my God. Didn't Wemby hit a 4-point play to win the game?
I think. He had like 8 points in the last so many seconds.
Look at that. Oh, my God.
That's a grown man.
5'4"
Versus 7'4".
versus Wemby. Oh, my God. That's wild.
All right, let me figure out where we're at here.
You lost your train
we
of thought.
we got the Italian broadcaster who hates the coffee at the
Dude,
Olympics.
I love this guy. All right?
Yeah,
He's my new hero.
Of the Olympic coffee. I don't know what he's saying in this video, but it sounds great. Apparently, he compares the coffee to the E. coli infested waters of the Seine River.
In sala stampa c'è un caffè.
Caffè.
Che, guarda, fa proprio pandan con le acque della Senna. Probabilmente è fatto con le stesse sostanze, cioè con le stesse sostanze no, con la stessa acqua poi allungata con un solubile di bassa qualità.
Yeah, so he's saying that. He's saying it's so undrinkable. The coffee at the Olympic Media Village is so undrinkable. It's so disgusting that it tastes like they made it with the water, the poop water from the Seine River.
Yes.
Like, even Todd Zolecki agreed with that. he said, "Wow, that's horrible." No, you know what, the Italians are the best. Like, I get a kick out of them because their food and coffee, like it's like death. Like that's jailable. Think about it. Only in Italy do you have fake prosciuttos, right? And there was a whole scam about fake prosciutto. In fact, they busted like mafia. They were selling these fake prosciuttos
At like gourmet shops and stuff?
Oh yeah, like they did a whole task force to protect the sanctity of prosciutto. You know who knows about that?
Oh, I'm sure we do.
Right. Let's go down to Jacksonville, where our man Baldi is right there at camp. Baldi!
Baldi. Oh, let's talk some football. Ay, Baldi. Oh, he likes meats and football. Oh, Baldi.
Oh, Baldi. There he is, live in the Jacksonville sun. The great Baldi. Is that a golf cart you're on? What are you doing?
I'm just sitting in a chair at this NFL Network set here. I got Trevor Lawrence right behind me running a team drill right now. I probably shouldn't be showing any of the formations to you, but I spent a good deal of time talking to our good friend, Coach Doug P. this morning. They're in a brand new facility here in Jacksonville. It's state of the art. It's their NovaCare Center. It's really fantastic. So anyways, they've got a good practice, full pads out here today. And I'm just making my way around. I was in Tampa last night with Todd Bowles and that group, looking really good. And I'm out here today just looking at, some of what Jacksonville is going to throw out there in a really tough division this year.
How hard? I'm curious because Bowles is a pretty tough coach. Doug's from the Andy School. How hard is the camp so far? Like, what are you seeing as far as how physical it is? He just popped away. We just lost him. All right, do me a favor. Tell Baldy we'll be back in a second. I want to tell you about Parx Casino. The great part, we talk about the BetParx app, but Parx Casino is unbelievable. State-of-the-art entertainment, Street Road, Ben Salem. I mean, you got it all up there, right? So you got the Liberty Bell Gastro Pub and the epic $5 happy hours. It's Wednesday, all right, through Friday. They have incredible drinks, beer specials for $5, Albertoni Cabernet wine for $5, the drink of the summer, the frozen Arnold Palmers for $5. They have all the small plates, the braised short rib sliders, $5, hot honey chicken sliders, $5. I mean, you can't beat their happy hours. They have it incredible. The steakhouse is amazing. They have the hand rolled sushi there. I mean, the eateries are terrific. The top flight entertainment that you have at Parx Casino is amazing. The 1,500 seat Excite Center. I know in the fall, Tiffany Haddish is going to be there. She's hysterical. JB Smoove is there. And they have something going on all the time. Joe Conklin's comedy every Thursday night. His comedy shows. They have something for everybody. I mean, you got state-of-the-art. Then you got all the slots, 3,200 state-of-the-art slot machines, all the tables, 115 table games, the sports book, the poker room. I mean, it's an epic center of fun. It's the number one casino in all of Pennsylvania. Check out parxcasino.com for tickets, for anything you need there. Parxcasino.com. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parx Casino, this is how you win.
All right. And as you may or may not know, it's allergy season. And what causes allergies? Pollen from trees, grasses, weeds. Symptoms flare up when the pollen you're allergic to is in the air. So keep an eye out on these symptoms. Maybe you have one or two. Itchy, red, swollen, or watery eyes, sneezing, nasal congestion, and a runny nose, scratchy throat, coughing, brain fog, itchy nose, skin or eyes, headaches, cough, dark circles under the eyes. Well, what do you do to get relief?
Check.
Getting relief's pretty simple. You sign up for Rite Aid Rewards emails at riteaid.com rewards. They'll email you pollen alerts for your area. So if the pollen count's high, stay indoors. Run the air conditioner. Remove your shoes and coats near your door to minimize tracking pollen in your house. Take a shower before bedtime. It's ragweed season, apparently. Ragweed's got my noses all jacked up. So what can we do? Over-the-counter solutions. Try a nasal rinse to flush out your nasal passages. When symptoms are flaring up or the pollen count's high, take Claritin, Zyrtec, or the Rite Aid name brands. Rite Aid brand names, and 1 or 2 weeks before the systems are going to flare up. Take a nasal corticosteroid sprays like Nasacort and Flonase or the Rite Aid brands. And if you still have questions for relief, ask your Rite Aid pharmacist. Visit your local Rite Aid today. Stock up on allergy relief or catch up on immunizations for RSV, shingles, and more. Walk in or schedule a vaccine appointment at riteaid.com.
All right. Thank you, VG. Let's go. I think we got Baldy back in Jacksonville. He zapped out. There he is. He is back.
Oh, they cut his connection off. They saw the plays in the background.
Yeah, they were like, we got to make sure. I love the background, man. Baldy's in Italy, and now he's in Jacksonville. He's the greatest.
Facility here, cuz. And so I'm trying to find a good signal for you.
Yeah.
They run magnets and stuff blocking the signal out of these training camps?
We're signal's not real great.
Yeah, no, brother. Yeah, here we go. I think we got you now. Tell us about the camp. Is it hard? Are they running tough camps down in Florida?
Well, I'll just tell you what's going on here, cuz everything from Andy Reid. All right, and so they got the long drive period that Andy made famous, where literally they would be on the field for 15 straight plays.
Yep.
And just to the tongue start dragging on the ground, like all these players already talking about before.
Damn.
Love that Doug's doing tough practices. Dougie.
Well, that long drive thing that Baldy talked about, I'll never forget. That was a big deal Andy would run it 15 plays. And so you would simulate what the 15 play. We got him? Let's try and see if it's better.
Yeah, that's much better, cuz.
Great. So how physical are the camps in Florida? Yeah. No, that's all right. Listen, we'll try
It's
to.
a Florida signal.
Yeah, no good. It's that heavy Florida air.
Yeah.
That is killing him. That's a shame.
Do you think does he drive? Does he fly first class? What's he doing bopping from city to city in Florida? You think he hops in a car and drives?
So he has a condo in Lauderdale.
Okay.
So he'll fly to Lauderdale and then he'll go back and forth to the state.
Okay.
It's about a 3-hour drive.
Wow.
From Lauderdale. So he did
Lauderdale, Jacksonville's a pretty long drive,
Well,
right?
no. He was in Tampa.
Okay.
So he'll go to Tampa, right? Drive across state from Lauderdale, and then drive up to Jacksonville from Tampa. Okay. I mean, it's a couple-hour drive.
Yeah.
But that's the way to kind of knock those out is to do that. But Andy used to run that 15-play long drive, and it was arduous. I want to see Nick. And coming up shortly, we're going to talk to Zach Berman. But I want to see them run a little bit. I'm not asking for boot camp, right?
Yeah. How's the 15 play work? Like if the defense stops them, or do they just run 15 straight plays?
No, they run 15 straight plays.
Okay.
It's not about, but they're running it. They're running actual plays.
Right.
So it's less about the result and more about putting you through that. Because it's really good for the offense and the defense, right? Mm-hmm. Because you got to get used to that simulation of those long drives. All right, let's go to our Eagles daily training camp update. By the way, this portion of the program is brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. And let's go to our man from the All PHLY Eagles show. He'll be on at 2 o'clock with Bo Wolf, the great Zach Berman. Zachariah!
Hey, good morning. I'm jealous of Baldi. I want to do one of those camp tours where you knock out 10 camps in 12 days. I mean, that to me is like the August dream.
That's why I love Zach, because he's just like me. We're two football head losers that go, wow, man. Most people go, do you want to be out in training camp in the hot sun? Yeah. Right? And all over the world. And we go, yeah, I love to see you able to see that behind the scenes. And Zach is like that. I appreciate that, Zach.
Absolutely. People say to me, you must love the fact that it's at the facility and not at Lehigh. And I say, well, you know what? I like seeing my wife and kids at night, right? Don't get me wrong. But when you went up to Lehigh, it was all football. And Andy would start those practices early in the morning. The second practice in the 2 days would be the afternoon. And you would just eat, sleep, breathe football, almost literally, because you were dreaming about football at night.
Yeah, you are, because it was just full immersion. And it was funny because Doug was running Andy's long drive simulation. And you remember that. Andy would run the long drive. Yep. And that was... guys were tongues hanging out. That was big work. Let's talk about that for a second before we get into our daily update. But I'm not expecting boot camp, but you got to be more. You got to give me more taxing of a camp. I mean, how is it? Nick vowed to run a tougher camp this year. How much tougher has it been?
There have been differences, conditioning in particular. I mean, it's an emphasis. You hear about it from them, but you also see it anecdotally. Things like at the end of a series, the defense, the offense running downfield. You see gazzers after practice. You'll see the first team offense run in for a play in after a third team rep, just for one rep, and then come off. And this is all part of conditioning. The reality is, Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, some of the camps they run are atypical relative to what a lot of camps are now. There are more camps now. Part of it is CBA mandated, right? There aren't 2 days anymore. There are required days off in between. But the Eagles have been on the lighter side under Nick Sirianni. Nick is running a harder camp this summer, but it is not the way you described Andy's camps by any means, nor is that their objective.
Well, that aside, let me ask you, what do you believe in? Philosophically, you, Zach Berman, football guy, what do you believe in?
Well, I think the best way to get ready to play football is by playing football, right? So I think that you need to do it. That said, I think that there's an injury component to it that you need to be mindful of. I thought Brian Westbrook, he was on our show with Bo and Jamie back when Brian Dawkins had his golf tournament earlier this year, and Westbrook gave a good point that he thought the Eagles were kind of beat down early in the season sometimes under Andy because they had these hard camps, but they were well prepared for late in the year. So you can see the benefit to it. I think
that's true. If you go back and look, they often got out to slow starts. Like when I mean slow starts, I mean 1, 2, and 2, 1 and 3. Of course, the famous. Do you remember the famous B. West saves the season punt return, Miracle of the Meadowlands, Roman numeral 2? That was a big deal, and I do think it was weird. But they would go on these epic runs, man. Like the season second half, they were always strong.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, and ultimately, it comes down to the talent that you have. But I do think that the best way to get ready to play is by actually playing, and so I think you need to do more work than maybe what the Eagles have done in recent years. But I don't think you need to have the two-a-days, the tackling to the ground, but you need to be real crisp in terms of the way you do practice. And I also think back to 2017, for instance, like Nick Foles had a really bad summer and he was hurt for part of the time. He missed the spring. And then he's the Super Bowl MVP. So there's not always a correlation with the way you play in camp and what happens during the season.
Hey, Zach, can I ask about backup quarterback and Kenny Smallhands Pickett? How's he look?
I would tell you Kenny Pickett has not looked particularly sharp this summer. And if you came to camp and you didn't know the context, you didn't know which guy was the first round pick, which guy was the former top quarterback in college football, that kind of thing, you would say Tanner McKee is outplaying Kenny Pickett based on the sample size.
I like Tanner McKee. I like his arm. I got to tell you, I like his arm.
Yeah, I actually thought going into the year, I did for all PHLY.com this 15-step plan. If I were Howie Roseman, this is how I would approach the offseason. And Howie and I was on the same wavelength as Howie for many of the things, but one thing I said is I would give Tanner McKee a legitimate shot to win the backup quarterback job. The Eagles value experience there. Kenny Pickett started games. He's someone that I know they liked in the draft. And again, it's only been 5 practices. Kenny Pickett's acclimating to new players out there, to new teammates. I don't want to say new system because they're all acclimating to the new system. And I do think from having watched some of the Steelers preseason games last year, and certainly not their training camp practices, but I think Kenny Pickett can be more of a game guy. Like he looked really good in the preseason. But if I'm just being honest with you, if you watch these practices, I think Kenny Pickett's holding on to the ball longer than the Eagles. Than he should. I don't think he's kind of pinpoint on some of these passes, and I like the way Tanner McKee's playing. This is going to be interesting to watch, especially in the preseason games, because I can't imagine Jalen is going to play at all during the preseason.
So today's a walkthrough for the guys?
Yeah, this is a weird stretch in camp right now. They have a walkthrough today. They have the public practice tomorrow night, the only public practice that they have. And then they have, I believe, a walkthrough Thursday, then a scheduled day off on Saturday. So it's in 4 days, it's really only one full practice. And you kind of compare it to next week, from Sunday to Wednesday next week, they have 4 consecutive practices. So there's a handful of things here. I imagine the stadium availability had something to do with this, right? They want to get this public practice in. There's a soccer game there tonight. There's a concert there this weekend. There's only so many dates you can get in the stadium. And if you're practicing at night, you're not going to come back 10 a.m. the next morning and have a full practice, right? But I am a bit surprised the way they structured this to have essentially 2 walkthroughs and an off day in a 4-day span.
Yeah,
you don't like that.
I don't like that at all. I mean, listen, we're already, today's July 31st. You know, come on. Like, I get easing into it, but geez, you already started. You already start later and later. I mean, let's go, man. Like, you just put pads on, and now you're dialed it back again. I freaking hate it.
It's a valid point. A week from Friday, they have their first preseason game, right? So I know going into kind of the preseason games, they like to have somewhat of a structure, simulating almost like a game week. I typically think the second week of training camp should be the week when you kind of accelerate things, when it's the hardest week. There's no game you're prepping for, right? So it does surprise me right now that this is the lighter week relative to next week.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. All right, give me storylines that we like to go our daily storylines. What's the storyline that you've been thinking about? Because today's a closed practice to the media. Yeah. What is your storyline today?
Yeah, big thing that jumped out to me from yesterday's practice, first padded practice, but this has really been building the past few days, is Quinyon Mitchell as a potential option in the slot. Going into camp, I would have told you Quinyon Mitchell would be prepping to be the starter on the outside by this point in camp, kind of week 2 going into week 3. You would see him make his move, so to speak, and that's not the case. Actually, he's getting more work now as the slot guy, and my guess there has less to do with Quinyon, more to do with the way Keely Ringo's playing, the way Isaiah Rogers is an option there. Cooper DeJean's obviously out right now. You need to figure out who's going to be your slot. Quinyon Mitchell was taking first-team reps in the slot yesterday. I think he's been playing well. He looked really good, actually, in one-on-ones against A.J. Brown in practice yesterday. Like, if you spotted that, you would say, man, this guy, not just did he play well, but he acted like he belonged, right? He didn't back down from A.J. Brown. The other thing that jumped out is in the first 2-3 days of camp, I thought the offense was especially efficient. I thought Jalen was playing really well. I thought the past 2 days, not that the offense hasn't played well. I think the defense has really stepped it up. I thought, and there have been some movement on the offensive line. It's been a patchwork group these past 2 days. But Jalen Carter has been getting pressure these past 2 practices. Jordan Davis has been getting pressure these past 2 practices.
I think he has I think he has like breakout star season. Like of everybody in that front 7, I'm so excited for Jalen Carter. He's got to be your best player. He's got to be a game wrecker, a difference maker on that side of the ball. And I think he can be. I do. I think this is it. This is the perfect year. Second year, he just blows up.
You're right. He's special, right? Like there's players we can talk about, and I can say this guy's good, this guy's talented, this guy has potential. With Jalen Carter, he's just special, right? That you have like starting offensive linemen, 350-pound guys who he overpowers them. He has acceleration. You talk about some of like the best defensive linemen that you see. The guy he reminds me of a bit is like a young Ndamukong Suh in terms of the way he plays. I know in Philly,
I love Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox's name gets thrown around in Philly. I know like the benchmark for interior rushers is Aaron Donald. He's a different type of player than that. The guy that jumps out to me is I think of Ndamukong Suh when he was on those Lions teams, and that's who Jalen Carter reminds me of sometimes.
Yes, that gets me excited.
I'm about to get punched.
No, if you think about it, because I completely agree with you, because Suh's the guy that I want. Jalen, I loved Ndamukong Suh. Like, he was the ultimate game wrecker. And I'm thinking I see the same kind of similarities that he can blossom into a Suh-like force.
Yeah, and the thing about Sue too is he wasn't like a 15, 16 sack guy, but what he was your entire game plan on offense was
Yes.
built around knowing where he is. And if you're an opposing offensive coordinator this season, like Matt LaFleur week 1, right? If he's watching this show right now, you need to know where Jalen Carter. You need to know where 98 is on the field on every snap. And if not, he's going to be in the face of the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, because that's the type of player Jalen Carter is.
Well, and here's the thing, and the beauty of what Sue did was your ends ate off of him, right? And so you look like a guy like Huff, like you're singled up because you're so worried about Jalen Carter. You should be able to eat. Like, it helps everybody on that line. If Jalen Carter is anything like that it'll open up lanes for those other guys.
You're absolutely right. Now, you say Huff. It's been 5 practices, right? I don't want to overstate anything. Huff hasn't jumped off the field to me yet.
Yeah.
Again, I want to see it in games. I obviously want to. Hassan Reddick's first 5 practices, you wouldn't have said he's going to be a 16 sack guy, but Hassan Reddick had certain movement skills that you just don't, you don't see from edge rushers, and I don't see that quite yet from Bryce Huff. But he had 10 sacks last year. Now that said, and Baldi would know this far better than me. Like, I think back to that Jets-Eagles game. He had a sack and a half in that game. Jack Driscoll was the right tackle. And you're going to face Jack Driscoll types in the NFL. I get that. But when you're playing in January, you're playing in February, I mean, you're seeing the top right tackles in the league, and that's who.
Yeah, I worry about his numbers being fake or fat.
I think Salah's a good defensive guy. Mine for him to let him go. I mean, it's a little worrisome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good point. Now the Jets, that they spent high draft picks on guys like Jermaine Johnson, and they have money tied into players there. But you are right. They did let him out the door, and they wanted Hassan Reddick over him, essentially, right? Now it's not apples for apples there, and there's long-term money involved, but that's a decision the Jets made. This is a decision the Eagles made. I'm curious to see how this plays out.
Hey, Zach, speaking of special talent and game wreckers, I was reading about Dylan Covey, how he's been studying Cole Beasley in the slot under Kellen Moore. And I don't know, it seems like he's caught Nick's eye and he's had a pretty good couple of days in the slot. Does he have a chance for being the third wide receiver?
Yeah, Brett Covey's been here now for he's going on to year 3, right? And he's someone that they really like as a returner. Obviously, you think back to the Super Bowl, you think back to last year, the way he played. He's wanted to be more of a factor in the receiving game. That's just not the way that they've obviously turned. They had Quez Watkins as their 3. They brought in Julio Jones. I think they've been looking more for a speed element in the past. Now you get Kellen Moore in here, and you're absolutely right. Britton Covey went back, watched Cole Beasley film, because Cole Beasley played in this offense, and comparable body types, right? So I can tell you, if you're watching like one-on-ones in practice, which I did yesterday, Britton Covey can run his way open. And when he gets the ball in his hands, he can be shifty. Now, he's not a big speed guy. He's definitely not a size guy. He's 5'8", 173. So he's more of the, I don't like to say prototypical slot receiver, but he's like the slot receiver. He's the small shifty slot
Wes
receiver,
Welker, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the type of, and he embraces that. So he made a good point. He said that, in this offense in particular, when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, the third receiver can't be a ball-centric guy. It can't be someone who you're throwing the ball to, for 60, 70 catch season. So in the past, they wanted Quez Watkins because of his speed. Clearly, Paris Campbell, John Ross, guys that they like because of their speed. He thinks that his calling card is going to be his route running, and that if they want like a real precise route runner, someone who, if there's attention on AJ on one side, attention on Devontae on the other side, you can put Britton Covey in, and he can get open in space and take advantage of that space. He has played well, but it really goes down to the type of player that they want. I do think, though, that they really value his punt returning.
Hey, let me ask you. I thought last year they didn't utilize Goddard enough. Do you see that? Like, I'm curious what Kellen Moore. He's always been a tight end guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at Goddard and I think he's an underutilized weapon. I think he's a top tier tight end, or that next outside of the Kittles and those guys. He's like that next tier, a weapon that they could use more of.
I agree with you, Anthony. Now, that said, I think last year, I don't think Goddard played as well as the type of player that he is, right? I thought 2 years ago, obviously Super Bowl season, everyone played well, but he was awesome. And I don't think that they utilized him even as much as they could. Like, you look at his efficiency, right? His yards per target, it was through the roof. Last year, obviously injury factored into it, but I didn't think he was as efficient. And part of that goes down to the play calling, right? You think back, they would run this play every time that they were like on the plus 50, right? Or they'd pass the 50, and they'd run this like tight end screen to Goddard. He's so effective yards after the catch at that position. They didn't do that as much last year. I think between like the target share last year, the lack of rhythm on offense, they should utilize Goddard more. And frankly, they need to, because Goddard's in a big year for his future with the team. I said this to you at draft time. He's older now than Zach Ertz was when the Eagles drafted Goddard. He's older than Brent Selleck was when the Eagles drafted Zach Ertz. If you just look at the way contracts are structured, he's not like guaranteed to be here beyond this season. So this is the type, if Dallas Goedert plays the way that I know he can, and that he's shown in the past, then the Eagles need to think hard about maybe a potential extension into his early 30s. If he continues to be, like a middle of the pack, I don't want to say middle of the pack tight end, but more in that 7 to 12 tier than that like 3 to 7 tier, then that's when the Eagles start thinking about 2025 options.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody backup you like?
Backup
tight ends?
Backup tight ends. Well, Grant Calcaterra has been the top backup tight end so far. And he certainly seems to be the guy who's the front runner there. Entering year 3, was a 6th round pick. Good pass catcher.
Alberto, anything?
You haven't seen anything from Alberto. CJ Uzomah is the experienced one. CJ Uzomah, he had a bad drop yesterday, but what you're getting with him is a big tight end who can block, maybe catch the ball in the intermediate game. It wouldn't surprise me if this is a position that they continue to scan in the trade market, but people I talk to really like the way Grant Calcaterra looks in year 3.
You just bite into a lemon?
Doesn't excite me. Don't excite me. Hey, great stuff, Zachariah. So 2:00 today, you and Bo. What are you guys going to be talking about?
Yeah, 2:00. We're kind of resetting, and we'll look at what's happened this first week. We'll start to look at kind of who's rising, who's falling. We'll get into the Nick Gates signing. That was, the Eagles signed this veteran offensive lineman yesterday. We'll look into that. And actually 3:00 today, I'll be on the PHLY Sixers show. I'm a big Sixers. I'm a big basketball guy too. So
really?
they had an empty seat today. So Derek Bodner and I will talk and beat and all the latest with the Sixers. So excited for that as well.
Nice. Oh, I love it. I love a little Zachariah on the 10-9-8 76ers today. Double dose. I'm in, man. Good stuff, brother. As always, keep killing it, baby.
Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Z Burr, Zachariah on the Sixers. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Couple things before we get out of here. We got a day game, and it's a must-win. Sanchez today on the bump. Give us the lineups. Again, the lineups are out.
Oh.
So the only thing, just in case you missed it earlier, the Phil's lineup is the B lineup. It is not generous. Good. I'm just looking it up now because I do the RotoWire.
Yeah, we got Schwarber, Hayes, Harper, Bohm, Casti, Sosa, Wilson, Stubbs, Rojas.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. People are paying and taking off work to go down and see a ball game.
We
got to have all those guys in one lineup.
That's terrible lineup. You got to hope now. I'm excited about Hayes.
They'll probably put up 8 today.
I actually like the Phillies to win today.
Yeah.
So Cortez is a lefty for the Yankees. And if you're building your SGPs, put Hayes up there.
All right.
Because Hayes kills lefties. And I could see Hayes having some
no days off for the Yankee Bombers. Torres, Soto, Judge, Stanton plays. Chisholm, Volpe, Verdugo, LeMahieu, Narvaez, and Cortez is pitching.
Now, are you surprised that Chisholm isn't their leadoff guy?
I am. Yeah.
Because I know they've been struggling. I guess they go with Torres. He's a right-handed bat against Sanchez. Verdugo has been hitting against leadoff against right-handers. I was kind of surprised at that.
Yeah. Shocking to me, too. They got him going 5th again.
So
they're moving Volpe up to 6.
If you get swept, God forbid,
now we go on the West Coast.
What's the vibe? Like you were down there.
Good playing. If they get swept today,
well, what was your vibe? What was the vibe there last night?
It wasn't bad. I mean, you're having a battle of cheering, trying to be louder than the Yankees fans, and people were optimistic most of the night. There wasn't a lot of dread down there, but I mean, they lose again today. I don't know how long the dread can stay away.
Yeah. Well, they go on the West Coast. And it's going to be pretty it's a 3-city trip. You start off in Seattle.
Yeah.
And the Mariners are playing better.
Yeah.
Right? Then you got to go to the Dodgers. And the Dodgers have revenge.
Sure.
Right? After getting swept in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And then Arizona. And I freaking hate the Diamondbacks. This stretch is a nasty stretch.
Yeah. I mean,
this is a tough stretch.
It's been a tough 3 weeks. It's going to be a tough 3 weeks. You know, with the Twins, Guardians. It's been a tough stretch.
I know. And you wonder, because a lot of people talk about, well, you know, they feasted off of a fairly favorable schedule.
To do, yeah.
What's your level of concern over this next, 10, 11 days, 12 days? Including
games.
Today.
I mean, I'd love to see them go 500. I'd be good with that.
Yeah, that's realistic.
Yeah.
Because, again, at Seattle.
Yeah.
At the Dodgers. At Arizona.
Yeah.
Hey. And I'm not, again, I preach the kickoff thing.
Yeah. Do we have time for one good nugget, yo?
Yes.
All right. U.S. women's rugby team, the 7 squad, has never medaled. They were playing yesterday against Australia, which is a powerhouse. Aussies go up 12-7 with like 12 seconds left, and maybe even less. This is what happens in this game. We got a local woman.
Alona Ma.
Ariana Ramsey right there is local, pitches. And this woman, Alex Cedric.
Cedric's away.
Breaks it, dude. Time is running out as she breaks this run.
50, the 40. Wow. She's going to take it all the way. Cedric for the USA.
Ties it up, and then she's got to make a kick to win.
Right now. It is level at 12 apiece.
Wow.
The conversion.
How about she broke that tackle?
The bronze medal for Team USA.
And she's got a little short kick to win it easy. Their first medal, but that was as time the time clock is 0. As
Were you watching that?
No, I saw that. Yeah. No.
Wow, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, and the woman passing the ball was Ariana Ramsey. She's a Philly-born, went to Upper Merion. She's a local lady.
Yo, to the Ramsey.
Yeah.
Coming up big with a little kick out.
All-American at Dartmouth. And then she passed it to Alex Cedric, who made that run.
That was a great run, by the way. Dude, I
turned the Jets on.
Yeah. She did put the Jets on. Yeah. Man, that was incredible.
Yeah.
We had a Westbrook. She looked like B. West in the clear.
Like a little miracle in the medal
right? Like that, oh, that's incredible, man. Very
cool. Good stuff by the women's rugby.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Listen, that's going to do it. Don't forget, become a diehard here at PHLY. We love you guys. Great job. Steve's Andrew Frazier produced. Everybody, we love you guys. Hang in. Have a great day. And as always, we'll see you in the morning.